It's 2:13 in the morning, the kind of hour where the world feels paused, streets empty, windows dark, time moving slower than usual. Daniel is halfway through his shift, walking the same route he's walked hundreds of times before. Same sidewalks, same corners, same quiet routine that makes every night blend into the next. There's a certain numbness that comes with repetition like this. You stop noticing things. You stop questioning things. You just move. But tonight, something breaks that pattern. As Daniel turns the corner, a glow catches his eye. A laundromat. The same one he's passed countless times without thinking. But tonight, for some reason, he looks inside. And he actually sees it. Machines spinning. Dryers turning. Lights bright against the darkness outside. The soft mechanical hum filling the empty space. But there's no one there. No workers. No customers. No movement except the machines themselves. And yet, everything is running perfectly. A digital payment screen lights up. Transaction approved. A dryer stops. Another one starts. And in that quiet moment, something shifts in Daniel's mind. Because what he's looking at doesn't match what he believes. Daniel has always understood money in one way. You work, you get paid. You show up, you earn, time equals money. That's the rule. That's the system. That's what he's been following his entire life without ever questioning it. But this laundromat doesn't follow that rule. It doesn't clock in. It doesn't take breaks. It doesn't wait for permission. It just runs. And more importantly, it makes money while running, without anyone there. Daniel slows down. Not enough to stop working, but enough to feel the weight of what he's seeing. Because this isn't just a business. It's proof of something different, something he's never seriously considered before. A system that operates independently. A way of generating income that isn't tied to presence. And that idea doesn't hit him all at once. It lingers, quietly, uncomfortably. Because once you see something that challenges your assumptions, you can't unsee it. For the rest of his shift, Daniel goes through the motions, checking doors, walking routes, doing exactly what he's supposed to do. But mentally, he's not there anymore. He's still standing outside that laundromat, watching machines make money in an empty room. And by the time his shift ends and the sky begins to lighten just slightly, Daniel isn't just tired. He's thinking. And more importantly, he's questioning. Daniel gets home at 6:07 a.m. Same routine. Shoes off. Jacket dropped on the chair. Coffee machine humming softly in the background. A routine so familiar, it happens almost automatically. But today, something is different. He doesn't go to bed. Instead, he sits down, still thinking. Because the image of that laundromat hasn't left his mind. It keeps replaying. Machines running. No owner. Money being made. And the more he thinks about it, the more uncomfortable he feels. Not because it's confusing, but because it exposes something, a flaw in the way he's been thinking about money his entire life. So he does what most people do in moments like this. He looks for answers. Phone in hand, he starts searching. How to make more money. Best side hustles. How to increase income? The results come instantly. And they all say the same thing. Drive more. Work longer. Pick up extra shifts. More time. More effort. At first, it feels logical. Of course you need to do more to earn more. That's what he's always believed. But now, something feels off. Because none of these answers explain what he saw. That laundromat didn't work more. It didn't hustle. It didn't grind. It didn't sacrifice sleep. It simply existed and generated income anyway. And that contradiction starts to grow. Because if one system can make money without time, then why is everyone else still trading time for money? Daniel leans forward slightly, scrolling slower now. Not searching anymore. Thinking. Because he's starting to realize something most people never stop to consider. Time is limited. No matter how motivated you are, no matter how disciplined you become, you only get 24 hours. And if your income depends on those hours, then your income is capped. That's a ceiling no one talks about. The invisible limit built into the system itself. And suddenly, all the advice he's been following feels incomplete. Not wrong. Just limited. Because it keeps you moving. But it doesn't move you forward. And that's the trap. Busyness. The illusion of progress. Waking up early, staying late, filling every hour with activity. It looks productive. It feels productive. But it doesn't actually change your position. It just keeps you in motion, like running on a treadmill. Effort without distance. Daniel sits back in his chair. Coffee now cold. Because for the first time, he's not thinking about working harder. He's thinking about working differently. And once that thought enters your mind, you can't ignore it. And when the question changes, everything else follows. Daniel is no longer asking, how can I make more money? Instead, he asks something far more important. How does money get made without me? And that single question opens a completely different path. Because now, the answers don't look like jobs. They look like systems. Things designed to operate independently. Things that don't require constant attention. Things that continue working, even when you stop. Daniel starts looking at the world differently. Not as a worker anymore, but as an observer. He notices patterns he's ignored before. Machines and airports charging for phone access. Parking meters, collecting money, all day. Online stores processing orders automatically. None of these systems require someone standing there 24/7. They're built once, and then they run. And suddenly, the laundromat makes perfect sense. It was never about washing clothes. That's just the surface. The real function is deeper. It's a system designed to remove the owner from the process. That's the product. Independence. And that realization changes how Daniel sees everything. Because now he understands a difference that most people never fully grasp. If something needs you constantly, it's not a business. It's a job. But if something continues to operate without you, that's a system. And systems are powerful because they don't depend on your energy. They don't depend on your mood. They don't stop when you're tired. They repeat consistently, predictably. And that's what makes them scalable. Daniel starts to feel something new. Not excitement, not motivation, clarity, a quiet understanding that there's another way to approach this. Not by adding more hours, but by removing himself from the equation. And for the first time, he's not thinking about what he can do next. He's thinking about what he can build that keeps working after he stops. And that shift is where everything begins. Once Daniel sees it, he can't unsee it. The idea of systems starts following him everywhere. It's no longer just a laundromat. Now it's patterns, quiet owns, the kind most people walk past without thinking. That's when he finds the first real example that feels accessible. ATM machines. Not the ones owned by banks, private ones. At first, it sounds strange. Why would someone own an ATM? But the more he looks into it, the clearer it becomes. You place a machine somewhere people already need cash. A convenience store, a small shop, a barber shop, somewhere with steady foot traffic. You load it, and then you wait. Every time someone withdraws money, you earn a fee. $2, $3, sometimes more. It doesn't sound like much until you realize it happens over and over again, daily, automatically. No conversation, no selling, no convincing, just a system doing exactly what it was designed to do. Daniel writes it down. Then he finds vending machines. Different product, same principle. You place them where people already are. Gyms, offices, waiting areas. People walk up, press a button, and buy. No negotiation, no effort, no involvement. And the more he studies these businesses, the more something becomes obvious. They're not exciting. They're not glamorous. Nobody is posting about them every day. But they work quietly, consistently, without attention. And that's what makes them powerful. Because they don't rely on motivation. They rely on structure. And structure doesn't fail when you're tired. That's when Daniel realizes something most people ignore. The best opportunities usually don't look impressive. They look simple, almost boring. But underneath that simplicity is a system that keeps running. And that's what matters. Not how exciting it looks, but whether it works without you. Daniel keeps digging. He notices a limitation. Every system he's found so far is physical. Machines, locations, maintenance. They work, but they require something tangible. And that means limits. So he asks a better question. What if the system didn't need a physical form at all? That's when he finds something different. Something that doesn't sit in a room. Something that doesn't need restocking. Something that exists purely online. Digital products. At first, it sounds abstract. Almost too simple. You create something once. A design, a template, a piece of content, a file. You upload it to a platform. And when someone buys it, everything happens automatically. Production, delivery, payment, no handling, no shipping, no inventory. You don't touch the product. You don't even see the customer. And yet, money comes in. Again, and again, and again. That's when it hits him. This isn't just automation anymore. This is leverage. Because now, effort is disconnected from output. You don't need to repeat the work to repeat the income. One action, multiple results. And that breaks another belief Daniel has carried his entire life. That to earn more, you must do more. Because here, you don't. Here, the work happens once, and the system handles the rest. And for the first time, Daniel starts to understand something deeper. This isn't about finding a better job. It's about building something that operates on a completely different set of rules. Rules where time is no longer the main currency. Rules where systems replace effort. And once you understand that, you stop thinking small. The decision. Now Daniel sits in silence. Same room, same chair, same life on the surface. But internally, everything is different. Because now he knows there isn't just one way to make money. There are multiple real-ons, proven honest, systems that exist right now, generating income, whether the owner is present or not. Machines, digital products, automated processes, different forms, same principle. And yet, there's a problem. Too many options. And this is where most people fail. Not because they lack information, but because they have too much of it. They research everything, compare everything, watch videos, read articles, take notes. They feel like they're making progress, but they're not. They're stuck because information creates the illusion of movement. But action is the only thing that creates results. Daniel feels it happening, that hesitation, that voice saying, what if you choose wrong? What if it doesn't work? What if there's something better? And for a moment, he almost listens. But then he remembers something simple. That laundromat didn't start perfect. That system didn't appear fully built. Someone started it. At some point, with less clarity than he has right now, and that realization cuts through the noise. Because the real mistake isn't choosing the wrong path. It's never choosing at all. So Daniel does something most people avoid. He stops researching, closes every tab, puts the phone down, and decides not the best option, not the safest option, just one. Because he understands something now. Momentum matters more than perfection. And somewhere, right now, a machine is running, a system is processing, a payment is going through, and someone is getting paid without being there. The only difference between them and everyone else is that they started. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this.